Welcome back to Tied Down TV, the punk rock opinion show with me, Geoff.
And Danny.
And today we're doing our fantasy Liverpool hardcore compilation.
And we've even thought of a name for it. Tell them what the name is, Geoff.
Dockside Disorder.
Over 40 years of hardcore punk in Liverpool.
There you go.
So, I think, before we start, I'd just like to say that I think documentation of any regional scene is important.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do it enough in this country. Like, if you look at, like, in America, they have books or documentaries on, obviously, New York and all that, but then they have, you can find things on Detroit, Cleveland, you know, all over the place, Boston, Florida. I feel like in the UK here, we don't really document the smaller scenes as much as maybe they deserve to be documented.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And I think, you know, we've been doing this a year and a half. We've built up somewhat of a platform, maybe rather unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And we've done it before, haven't we? We've made a few videos. You know, we did the Thrash Gig retrospective video. We did the Jailcell Recipes video. We did our favourite current Liverpool hardcore bands. I think it's somewhat of a duty of ours.
Yeah, I think so.
When you've developed somewhat of a platform, it's somewhat of a duty, I think, to say, you know, to document our scene,
represent it.
And I'd like to think if you know, Leeds or Manchester had, you know, a podcast of a similar ilk, they probably do the same thing. Now it'd be easy, wouldn't it, for us to just say, check this out, check these out from 2004, check these out from '99. We decided to make a 22 song compilation, 22 bands, 22 songs, and then put the links of each band in the description.
Yep. So,
I believe it was John Cusack in High Fidelity who said, when putting a compilation together, there's lots of do's and don'ts. You want to make sure that you represent every era, I reckon.
Yeah.
100%. You want to represent every subgenre.
Yep.
And you want to make sure your opening track is an absolute belter that's going to catch everyone's attention. And funnily enough, me and you had the same thing in mind instantly.
Yep.
So shall we get going?
Let's do this.
Right, 22 songs, 22 bands, Liverpool hardcore history. And to open this, we have gone for Walk the Plank, the song Walk the Plank. It's probably the most recognisable song of theirs. They closed their sets with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most iconic Liverpool hardcore band, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, of all time, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they would... I think if you went to a Walk the Plank gig and you were still standing by the time you heard the bass start of this song, you ain't going to be standing by the end of it.
No.
It was just pure chaos. And it still sounds brand new, I think, when you hear it today. It
sounds fucking incredible. I was listening to it not that long ago. It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible song, yeah. And not much more to add, really.
No.
You've kind of touched on everything. So, track number 2, SSS, The Beast. Again, iconic Liverpool band.
Yeah.
Crossover. Fucking, it was so good. It was so good. And this song, maybe not our favourite song by them. Not the band's favourite song, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But so iconic. And at those, especially those earlier shows, when that song came on, it was just fucking...
It's that opening riff. But obviously a song that's been written with crowd participation in mind, the pit in mind, sing-alongs in mind. Like I said, probably not my favourite SSS song, but I always say about The Beast, it's their Toxic Waltz to Exodus. Yeah. It's just as soon as you hear it, you're thinking, oh, you know, it's going off, do you know what I mean?
Let's go.
So, yeah.
Cool. Alright. So,
SSS, The Beast.
Yeah, cool. Track 3, Down and Out. We're Down and Out. So, again, another iconic band from, especially the period when we were going to shows in those early 2000s. Just straight up, like, street punky, catchy melodies, just fucking great catchy tunes. Their shows, again, were always upbeat, riotous, but it was just, everyone was just singing along. And this song specifically kind of feels like a little bit of like one of the anthems of that era for me anyway. And I, you know, even now, every now and then, without prompting, it'll just pop into my head and I'll start humming We're Down and Out, you know, wherever I am in the world.
I think them, along with Walk the Plank, them two bands, are probably the two bands that at that time, every kid in the whole scene knew every word to every song.
Yeah.
That was like a real achievement. I think that those bands were so almost cultishly followed.
Yeah, definitely.
And deservedly so, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So let's just put a little marker down there, right? Let's put a little marker down on the first three. So those three bands represent the Our Day Out tour bands and, you know, the thrash gig days, probably the peak of Liverpool hardcore, I'd say, in its history. And those three bands spearheaded that.
Yeah.
They spearheaded it. And then a lot of bands that are on this list as well would have been the bands, you know, that were around during that time, but were kind of like splintered off. That made up the rest of the scene.
Yeah.
But you can't really deny that those three bands spearheaded the scene in the early to mid 2000s and towards the late 2000s.
Yeah.
So there's the first three. Now number 4, we've gone Blades of Unity, Backpack Full of C4. One of my personal favourites. Everyone knows it. I could, you know, they released such a legendary mini CD on Ruction Records, and I could have picked any song off it, to be honest. It was probably because of a really like iconic line that's in there about emos, which I won't I won't replay it or say it now because it will probably get the video banned. But yeah, Blades of Unity. You're a fan and you're not even into beatdown.
That's very true. I am a fan. Again, and it reminds me of especially of that period, like that, you know, early to mid 2000s. They were a band, and I've said it before on here, but they were a band who, the amount of times I went to shows that they should have been playing and didn't, I probably should have seen them 6, 7, 8 times. I saw them twice at most, I think. Yeah. So yeah.
But you know, one of only 2 bands at the time to represent beatdown in Liverpool when beatdown was very, very not in favour. Like it was really, you know, it was really not popular
not
in the slightest. Not in the north. That's what. Yeah, not in the north.
Yeah, cool. All right. So track 5, gone Violent Reaction. Leave Me Out. Huge band. Yeah. Fucking great song as well.
Wallacey represents.
There you go. Yeah, because started originally as just a solo project, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I know the first UK band signed to Revelation Records, which again, fucking great. Just great fucking hardcore with a big Oi influence. Amazing, like I say. Not much more to say. They were a great band.
They really, I remember when they took off, they were massive.
They're huge, weren't they?
Yeah. So track 6, we've gone way back in time. We've gone Withdrawn, the song Hate Reborn off the Seeds of Inhumanity album, and this was during the era with Lecky singing. I know they had many singers in their time and a few different sounds as well. See a lot of kids around Liverpool at the minute wearing All Out War shirts. If they're not familiar with Withdrawn, and especially this album, you should check it out because it's very, very All Out War sounding. And it's worth listening to this song, not only for the amazing Slayer riff and like the verse, but the line that always sticks in my head. Give me the power to take life and I'll bring you to your death for the world you've created.
Powerful.
What a line that is.
Beautiful.
Right, next we've gone, again, another great line. Track 7, Seconds Out, Another Notch. Maybe a bit of a grey area. People have discussed, are they Liverpool, aren't they Liverpool? Well, I think 2 members of Down and Outs recorded with Mark McGill.
Yep.
I think that qualifies them. The singer is probably as scouse as you're going to get.
Yep.
I've got to say as well, the Seconds Out demo, along with the SSS demo, are my 2 favourite Liverpool-affiliated hardcore demos of all time.
Yeah, great.
Probably my most listened to demos. Seconds Out were always amazing to watch live. They represent the straight edge, along with Violent Reaction. But Another Notch, the line, one of my favourites of all time. You're just another walking corpse, another notch on my fucking bat that I use to smash away the memories of everything I used to care about. That is a line. That is a great, great line.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, next, we've gone Step Beyond, The Last Dance. They're more modern.
Yeah, last 2 years. Unfortunately, last night, coincidentally enough, announced that last night was their final show.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've seen this band a good few times, and I've got to say they saved the best till last, because last night they were absolutely fantastic. And I've got to say about Step Beyond, I'm a huge fan because they play hardcore the way I imagine it should sound, and on top of the music, you've got these really passionate, heartfelt vocal. You know, this heartfelt, passionate vocal delivery with a great vocal behind it, great lyrics. I've said in terms of straight up hardcore, they're my favourite, like, current, although they've just split up, current Liverpool hardcore band by quite a distance, actually.
Yeah. Nice, cool. Okay, so next one we've got Cold Ones, Mindsweeper. Cold Ones, fronted by Russ, who's in Coffin Vickers, was in Sheer Attack and loads of other bands. This is kind of like, right there, these are right up my street for sure. Fast punk, hardcore, whatever you want to call it. No airs and graces about it. It's just fucking great. You know, there's hooks there almost. It's, you know, it's catchy in its own way, but it's just fucking fast, great hardcore punk, and I love it. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, they were another band who like seemed to be massive for a while, like really big.
Yeah.
So that's track 9. Track 10, a band me and Geoff are both big fans of. We've gone Bovver Bailey, the song around the back of the Azad.
Amazing.
I mean, I've flew the flag for these for a long time. I just think they're so underrated. And I think this song is just so special. I mean, the description of living in a council estate with a notorious family where there's so many people and you're upset one, they're all after you and all that. And it's just that kind of description. I just absolutely love it. And, you know, in terms of music, you know, they're just so solid and so good. And they do that oi rock and roll thing so perfectly well. I think they deserve better than what they've got so far, for sure.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing. Great band.
Track 11, Stuck in a Rut, the song I'm Not Weak. Simple, to the point, in your face, does what it says on the tin. Reminds me almost of a slowed down Negative Effects.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a really, really good, catchy song.
Yeah, it's great.
The longevity of that band. They're one of the bands, actually, when I think of Liverpool hardcore, that probably because I've only been around as well, that come into my head.
Yeah, straight away, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so next, got track 12, got Underclass, the song Testosterone. Underclass featured on the legendary split with Hard to Swallow, which Danny picked when we did our video splits, actually.
Days of Fury, Wallacey.
Yeah, shout out. Chaotic, noisy. I love shit like that, though. This is fucking... Yeah, it's great. It's just very fast pacing, I'd say all over the place, but in a tight, amazing way. Can't tell. I mean, the songs are like short to the point, and yeah, that's most.
Yeah, they represent that sound I was talking about when, you know, in the 90s when you had like Hard to Swallow, when you had like Stalingrad and all them type of bands. It was all like that quite noisy stuff, but it was so good.
So good.
So track 13. Going way back in time, representing the Planet X period, we've gone Jailcell Recipes, the song Our Recipes. I think, again, similar to Seconds Out, are they Liverpool? I think they definitely are Liverpool. I would, yeah. Yeah, they were Planet X regulars, legends of the Northwest scene, iconic songs, iconic.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a personal feeling towards this song because Dave Arnold himself asked if I would cover the song with the band Slutch from Wigan, and that was a massive honour.
Well, you did a good job as well.
Thank you very much. Jailcell Recipes, Our Recipes.
Nice. So, track 14, gone for The Victory and the track Gobshite. So, The Victory, beatdown band from Liverpool.
The other beatdown band, the worst one.
Talking about. So, The Victory, if you don't know, Danny was the front man. Anyway, for me, as not a beatdown fan, this song specifically, I think, is objectively a great fucking song. I feel like they had a following, didn't you? You're known at the time, remembered still now as being one of the, a great band from that period. And I feel like this compilation, they had to get on it, The Victory.
Well, I certainly never put them up to it, so there you go. Next, another band from that same period. We've gone Hammer Attack, the song Belief Will Get You Nowhere. Hammer Attack, very short-lived, but made a bit of an impact while they were around. Very fast power violence. Believe it, you know what, I've seen them twice. I think it was Tom Pimlett on drums, Tank on bass, who I was in primary school with, and Dawson on vocal. Now, Dawson, I've revisited the demo recently. They were a band I always thought were going to get on this compilation anyway. But when you listen to that demo of theirs, Dawson has got such a good vocal for this type of stuff. And there was no one else really doing that at that time, at that specific time. And they probably should have done a bit more, for sure.
Cool.
Next, track 16, Hellmouth Generations. Hellmouth, made up of various members of other hardcore bands, but Chris Barrell singing. Now, just if I can be frank and honest about Hellmouth at the minute, Hellmouth started not long after, well, the Victory had been around like maybe a year after they started, and they released their demo at the same time released one of our demos. Now, if you've been in a band with someone and you splinter off into two separate bands, I think it's only natural there's going to be some unspoken rivalry there. And, you know, that now as an older man, you know, I can look at it and think, oh, you idiot, that was stupid. But, you know, I would have looked at them and thought, you know, we're better than them kind of thing. But I think if I'm being honest, if you listen to the Victory demo and the Hellmouth demo, to me anyway, theirs is pretty far the better demo in my opinion. I mean, I think they were a brilliant band. Like, I listened to that demo quite a lot. And that kind of like, how would you describe, like kind of like ringworm, rise and fall, metallic, apocalyptic hardcore that they did so well. And unfortunately, the demo is not available online. I even messaged Chris, said, is that demo on it? No, I was like, oh my God. Fortunately, I can't link you to it, but yeah, brilliant band, brilliant demo, and apparently they are coming back, so keep your eyes out.
Nice. Okay, so 17, gone Bitter Youth, No Peace of Mind.
Yeah, just quickly on Bitter Youth, I think they had to get in. I think their importance has to be acknowledged here, because 2010 to around 2015, I'd say, it was a particularly quiet time for hardcore in Liverpool.
Years.
Barren years, yeah. I put it down to losing various venues, quite a lot closed down within a small space of time. Promoters packed it in, bands split up, and there just seemed to be nothing for about 4 or 5 years. There was things here and there. There was the odd thing in the Pilgrim, you know, the odd thing in what was then called Maguire's. But there was no scene anymore. I didn't. It had gone. Do you know what I mean? If you were going to anything, it was once in a blue moon. Basically, it felt like the scene had gone for about 4 years, 5 years. And then I went to a gig in the Pilgrim and Bitter Youth played, and as far as I remember, they were the first band to use the L1HC moniker. And I think that was the first time in about 5 years I'd seen a group of kids and thought, aye, something's going on here. Something's happening again. And I credit Bitter Youth for being maybe the seed that has slowly started this new trajectory.
Yeah.
Because I think now Counterculture and a lot of them bands are the affiliates of the Bitter Youth guys.
Okay.
So I think they've got to be credited quite highly for being a seed that planted this current peak we're heading towards.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, track 18. Gone Save Your Breath, Modern Slavery Institutions. Save Your Breath are, in my opinion, one of the best around at the moment in Liverpool hardcore.
Again, guys, I have not put them up to this.
Unquestionably, this song is fucking great. It's a good mic grabber. Straight, just...
You're the only one who grabs the mic.
Yeah, but I like grabbing the mic for it. As I say, it's a good mic grabber for me anyway. But it's just a fucking great song, great band. And as I say, currently, you should definitely click the link, go and check that song out and go and come watch them live when they play live again. So 19 as well, No Ambition, Intolerance. Again, personally, one of my favourite current Liverpool hardcore bands. Band. Fast, no nonsense. I don't think any of maybe one song they've got clocks in over a minute. Short, furious, no fat on it. Fucking straight in there and straight out again. Love it. Great live as well. They've got 2 tapes which are both just outstanding. Just
to touch on No Ambition and Prize and Box Cutter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd call it their own little sub-scene they've got going on there, but I really love how they go about stuff.
Yeah.
So DIY.
Yeah.
All seem to, like, you know, have the right idea of punk and hardcore, and it's just
doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, that group of kids, I just love what they're doing. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing.
It is outstanding.
So track 20, we've gone Accusation. The Difference. Accusation, a band who've been making waves in Liverpool and outside of Liverpool actually for the last year or so, maybe longer actually. Another band representing straight edge. Another Tom Pimlett band, also featuring Tom James, Counterculture. Really good, like I've always said they remind me of like Brotherhood and bands like that, and I'm all about that kind of thing. You're not straight edge, but you're also a big fan.
Yeah, I just like what they do, I like the sound. It's great, like, yeah.
So we've gone through 20 songs there, right? 22 we're going to go for. So the last two are going to be somewhat bonus tracks, harping way back to the beginning of Liverpool hardcore. So I picked one, he's picked one. The first one, I picked it, and it is Public Disgrace, the song Toxteth, off their Toxteth EP, released around 82, I think, 82, 83, something like that. I mean, whether you think it's great or not, you can't deny. I mean, this has to be the first hardcore punk record released from Liverpool, surely. If there's something else, please, if there's something else, please, someone link me to it. There'll be some Herbert out there now. I'll go, look at this, you know. I'm talking hardcore punk here though. Nice. So yeah, that's what I've gone for.
Okay, and I've gone for This Attack, and the song is Oppression and Death. This Attack, one of the earliest D-beat bands, I think. You can't really argue that.
Yeah.
Legendary band featuring legendary members.
Recorded in Wallasey.
It was. They had Bill Steer, who went on to Napalm Death and Carcass.
They had the legendary Peck singing.
Vocals, yeah. Midi, who played drums for a while for them as well. But they basically became Carcass after a short while. But yeah, a great representation of that kind of raw, dischargey hardcore.
Yeah. And they were actually kind of started because they made the band up in a magazine.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny, yeah.
And people started asking for demos, and they were like, shit, we better actually make the band now. Yeah. But that's a brilliant story in itself. Yeah. So there you go. That is Dockside Disorder, our fantasy compilation album featuring Liverpool bands over the last 40 years. Obviously, not everyone has made it on. Who would you have had on there? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and that's that. So like, subscribe. If you want some notifications, go and ring the bell and join us on the socials, Instagram, Facebook, and give us some likes and follows and messages. And we'll see you next week.